Hello and welcome to the Be Fairy Afraid podcast, the podcast where we bring hilarity to the darkest of fairy tales. I'm Louise Atkinson.
And I'm Fiona Ridgewell. And this week we're talking about becoming an adult,
Depressing.
sofa surfing,
Fun.
and Sweethart Roland.
Someone's a fan. So, in the words of our busy mate, Jean-Baptiste Basile, what's he saying?
Shut your mouth, open your ears, and hear what I shall tell you.
Smashed it.
Thank you.
Friends on a quest, putting these fairy tales to the test, talking all things magical, mystical, but sometimes not very sophistical. Be very afraid, someone actually wrote this story down. Be very afraid, why are all the women wearing massive gowns? Why is he kissing her without her consent? What on earth is going on? Will they figure it out what this story's all about? Oh, be very afraid.
Hello.
Hello, Louise.
Hi.
How are you?
Just definitely press record, have you? After last week's...
I have definitely pressed record. I think you knew that. So I made a point of saying I've pressed record.
Yes, you did. Good stuff.
It's good to know, though, you do let go of grudges.
Yeah.
Good to know you don't harbour those and push them down for 7 days.
There's no doubt in my mind that in 20 years I will be exactly like one of the witches in this book that has some harboured grudge and that
Oh,
makes
really?
her vengeful of everybody else in existence.
It'll be the day that I didn't press record.
And I'll cast some sort of spell. I'm going,
Still,
she'll fucking land.
yeah. I'll have technical... exactly. I can't even say it.
What are you trying
oh my
to say?
God, technological.
Technological. That's the word you can't say.
No, I know what I can't say. Animosity.
Animosity.
Tried to say it to Matt today.
Um,
We don't need to know why.
I was going to ask how you were.
But there was some animosity
Right.
going on in the flat today.
Oh, Christ on a bike.
Aside from that, all good. How are you?
I'm all right.
Oh, that doesn't sound... I like your honesty, though.
Yeah, I've had a week of mourning the loss of my youth. Is that a bit much? I've felt properly like like the first time ever. I'm like, oh no, I am a proper adult now.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
I know you're going to get the hump.
Oh, it's going to be some
I do think
spiritual.
there's something in the air.
Oh, fuck off.
Because
rain is in the air.
I had the exact same thing.
Mourning the loss of your youth.
Honestly, I had the exact same sort of week where I was like, I'm on the descent.
Descent?
Yeah. To
Death?
I
Fuck
guess,
me, I didn't go that bad, mate. Oh, Christ.
But it seems like I've come out of it quicker. 'Cause I'm sort of back to my jovial self.
Yeah, I might be dead soon. Lols.
But the thing that helped me, I don't know if this should help me because there could be two reasons,
All right.
is that me and Matt started watching Slow Horses.
Which is a TV show about underperforming sub-branch of MI5.
Yeah, but great programme.
And that's brought your youth back.
Kristen Scott Thomas is in it.
She is banging, yeah.
And Matt's like, oh, she's lovely, isn't she? And I'm like,
She is fit.
But she is like, what, 65?
Don't know.
70 maybe?
It's like Gillian Anderson. That's still an absolute bear.
Yeah, he loves Gillian Anderson. He loves Gabby Logan.
Fair.
So he does love an older looking woman.
Oh, I'm not upset I'm losing my youth appearance-wise.
Oh. Well, then we had a different week.
Yeah, we had a completely different week. I mean, like, as a sense of myself, because...
Oh, God, this is too deep for me.
I tell you what sparked it off, right? And I'm so depressed that I got so happy about this.
Lord.
I bought a new Hoover and I was absolutely buzzing about it.
What one was it?
Cordless, chargeable Shark anti-hair wrap.
I think I may have the same one.
Absolutely adore it.
Right.
And then... So I got that and I was excited about my Hoover. I'm already depressed that I'm excited about my Hoover. But then the next day, and it was a Sunday I went as well, the morning I took a load of rubbish to the tip.
Yeah.
I then went to B&Q
yeah.
to get some stuff. And I then took the car through the car wash. So I qualified for my dad badge.
I was going to say, this sounds like a conversation with my mum.
Yeah, exactly. So then I did that. And then in the afternoon, without even thinking it or complaining, I just did the laundry. I started making a tagine for my dinner. Thank you so much. Just did all this adult stuff and didn't even think about it. I wasn't hungover. I wasn't doing it because I had to do something else or I had anywhere to be. I was like, this is just my life now. So then to make myself feel a little bit better, I put my Star Wars pyjamas on and sat and played PlayStation till the early hours of the morning to feel a little bit kid-like. But all that happened is I just felt tired and grumpy the next day.
Yeah. And then had to do more adult things.
Yeah, and I'm really sad I can't go out. It's like, do a shot. I'm like, of Actimel.
If it helps.
Oh, God, right.
Which it might not. I went out. This is what our argument was about actually today.
Oh, here it is. Here it was. We're not going to talk about it. Oh, it's been all 5 minutes.
Say it. I slept on the sofa.
Oh, shit.
Which is actually my own doing. He was laughing today because he was like, you were trying to punish me by telling me you were sleeping on the sofa. And then,
oh, you twat.
And then he was like, how was sleeping on the sofa? And then you was fine. Can you get out of my bedroom? So,
mate, never say you'll go sleep on the sofa.
I know. Well, I had a random night off of comedy, so I was like, he was like, let's go to the pub for a drink. There's live music.
Nice.
And we wouldn't normally just go and sit in a pub and have a drink together, but like if there's live music,
you would go to the pub just for a drink.
Well, yeah, he does, but I'm like, we could just do this indoors.
No, there's some. Because there's famous outside pubs we have constantly in the UK. It's a nice, although it's getting really expensive to go to the pub, so I get it.
It's just like, and it's yeah. With him, obviously, with blokes, they just stick on a pair of jeans. I have to do all my makeup, my hair, just to go out to sit and have a drink opposite someone who was in my house with me with a drink that is possibly in my fridge. Like, why am I doing that?
Why are you getting tired up to go to? I go rough as arse, play pool, play cards. I like a proper old man pub where everybody looks like they're waiting for death.
Right.
It's like God's waiting room.
Yeah.
And it's like, is that man asleep or has he died? And then you just, like, proper old man. And I just love the vibe. I love everything about it.
Well, last time I didn't put makeup on to go out, we was in Sri Lanka. 20 beautiful Irish women. And Matt maybe got caught having a few sneaky looks.
Oh, Matthew!
But I looked like a troll, so I flipped because I was like, oh, they're beautiful, aren't they? And I look like this, do I? Oh, how terrible that you'd have to just sit and stare at me. Which again was probably
I'm sure that really helped.
my fault. But since then, it's like for my own. I think I'm a quite insecure person.
Yeah.
Anyway, my point is, we went to this pretty much an old man's pub yesterday.
I love it.
I think a lot of them were definitely
dead.
Taking cocaine because there's a stench of guffs in the air.
Nice.
And I just thought, God, I don't want to be like that at their age.
What, farting?
Like, like when you was young, you used to go out and you'd get off with people. There was older women getting off with older men at the end of the night, like pairing up, like, well, we seem to be left. Should we get off with each other and exchange numbers? And I was like, oh my God, you're like 60 odd. Shouldn't you be at home, just enjoying the peace and quiet of your own house? With your loved ones.
Just because they're over 60 should be out not copping off with her. Good for them. If they're absolute babes and they want to do that, you crack on.
I walked past another family, so it was like an older mum and dad, possibly in their 60s, with their children, adult woman and her boyfriend. And I heard the mum go, this might be the scummiest pub I've ever been in. And that's where the argument started between me and Matthew.
What, that he'd taken you to the scummiest pub?
Because I said, you always tell me this is a nice area, but I just heard a lady say this is the scummiest pub she's ever been to. And he went, you always put this area down. I love this area. What's so wrong with this area? No one would want to live where you come from. And I was
and
like,
a breathing problem, did it?
What is wrong with him? But yeah, I don't know. The youth thing, I don't know if I'm worried about the becoming an adult thing. It's just more...
Yours is physical, man.
Physical.
I think because I always look a bit younger than I am. And I know this because I get... When I have had my hair washed and had a wash in general, I do still get ID'd. When I've not and I look grim, they're like, that woman is 108, serve her whatever she wants.
Horrible way to start a sentence.
But like,
when I have washed.
When I have washed, I get ID'd.
I'm going to move my chair out of the frame.
So yeah, I still get ID'd sometimes.
Do you? Because when we went to the said pub yesterday, I said to Matt, I think I've left my bag in the car with my purse. And it was like, right, what does that mean? I was like, well, I can pay on my card, but... what if I need ID? And he just laughed in my face. Like, just laughed in it.
This is the thing you miss about getting ID'd as well, because obviously now you're of an age of, yes, I mean, that old people stage where I'm like, no, I'm flattered. But I remember it was always a pain in the ass. I remember two things about being ID'd as a kid. Number one, when we were going out underage,
Yeah.
when we were young, you could get these. It was when we'd
Was
gone
it
on.
the uni ones?
It wasn't a uni one. It was even worse. It was you could get these European Union health cards, right? So if you ever, this is when we were
my
part of the EU,
gosh.
RIP, and when you went away, and me and some of the girls had gone abroad, and we all got European health cards, so
Yeah.
you could have the insurance over there because it was all that. But they'd got my birth date wrong, so
Stroke of luck.
yeah, so it meant I think I was
Unless you'd got really
15, 16. Yeah, exactly. I think I was 15 or 16. But then because of this card, it made me like 18.
Yeah.
But I would be going to clubs and they're like, RD. And I'd be like, here's my European health insurance card. And they're like, no. I'm like, but you can see there's a birth date on there. I'm like, love, no. Also, are you unwell? Should you be coming into the club
Do you
at
remember
all?
everyone was like, oh, you just need to know the star sign and your birthday.
Oh, God, yeah. And what uni did you go to?
Yeah.
And all that. I remember as well once being so drunk, because me and my friend, we looked quite similar when we were younger. And I'd used my ID and got in, and she couldn't get in. And I was literally stood in front of the bouncer. I was like, oh, here, just use mine. And funnily enough, that did not,
They never confiscate it though, do they?
No, I had it confiscated at uni once.
Did you?
Yeah. But it was actually it was my library card that got confiscated, and I think that I would have rather you'd have taken my passport because it was like SACs. And I was like, I need to get into the library. You don't understand. Take my passport. Take my money. I don't care, but I need my library card.
I don't think this adult thing is a new thing for you, Louise.
Right. Do you want to know what we're doing this week?
Yes, please.
I'm gonna see how much you remember this because we're doing Brothers Grimm.
All right, I know about them.
Do you? Because we've done 2 episodes on Brothers Grimm. Shall I-
Jacob,
Nice. Yeah, and
his brother.
the other one. Yeah. Wilhelm.
Wilhelm, I was going to say that.
And what else do you remember about the Brothers Grimm?
That one of their wives lived in their house with
Nice, yeah.
so I wasn't sure about the throuple situation.
That's right, yeah. Dorothea.
Yeah, did she do a lot of the writing?
You've remembered so much. I was going to like absolutely rip you apart, but you've actually done pretty well.
Maybe I just need to be tested.
4.
Cheeky bitch.
Dorothea lived with him, and
Yeah.
she also wrote a lot of passed a lot of the stories
Yeah.
to the two of them. So the one we're doing this week is Sweethart Roland.
Oh, that sound of him.
It's quite classic fairy tale wise, this one. It's a damsel seeking out her love who's entrapped by a witch kind of vibe. I don't know how I feel about this one,
Okay.
so I'm going to be interested to see how
So
you
you're
feel
going
about
into it apprehensively.
Yeah, couple of voices in it,
Lovely.
which I know you'll enjoy. Sweethart Roland, Brothers Grimm. You ready for these?
Yes, please.
Okay, off we goes. There was once on a time a woman who was a real witch and had 2 daughters, one ugly and wicked, and this one she loved because she was her own daughter, and one beautiful and good, and this one she hated because she was her stepdaughter. Stepmother-daughter kind of vibe
Giving
already
Cinderella vibes, isn't
in
it?
place. The stepdaughter once had a pretty apron which the other fancied so much that she became envious and told her mother that she must and would have that apron. So they're having a tizzy about an apron.
Right, okay, fair.
Don't know how good that apron is. Pretty standard. Unless it's
Yeah.
one of those ones that has one of those horrific,
Lemons on it.
I was going to say mottos, where it's like, I'm pro Secco. It's like, oh, do fuck off, love. I haven't time for that shit. The only one I've seen that I liked
Such a
apron-wise,
strong stance
I
on such
can't
small
cope
things.
with all the, I'm the barbecue queen, and it's like Barbie font. I can't cope
Did
with
I
them.
ever tell you about my tattoos that I've got?
Oh my God, please don't tell me it says barbecue queen.
No. But I do regret it. You know, like Live, Laugh, Love?
Oh, you totally have that tattoo.
I don't
somewhere.
have that. I have I choose happiness under my breast.
No, you fucking don't.
I do.
Which
I do.
one?
The left one. I don't know why. And what's happened is I think my brassiers have rubbed off the like long bit of the P. So it says I choose haddiness, which I don't know what that means, but it doesn't look or sound great.
That
So-
is what I'm going to get you on a fucking apron. I choose
And obviously you know the
happiness.
one on my hand, which is
I don't know what it says, but I know the one on your hand.
it says ambition. And I regret that more so than I choose haddiness.
Imagine just someone's getting onto it with you and they just lift up your boob. It's like, I choose happiness.
Excuse me. What were the other options?
Is the other one sadness? Is that your smaller boob? Would that make me sad?
I think I choose happiness. I was going through a breakup. I think that goes without saying. I think because I thought if I don't like it, it will
just sag and cover.
Yeah, because with my hand, I made such a mistake of that is always out there. I was like, do one where it can just, when you get older, it won't really exist.
Oh, so funny. Right. Oh, I need a voice for the old woman. Old womany witch.
Well, we just standard witch voice.
Just your standard classic witch voice.
Yeah, I think we've tried to diverge from that one too many times.
So here we go. The witch's daughter wants the apron of the stepdaughter.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, it doesn't sound like the best premise. But
doesn't seem like a great reason to be pissed
if
off.
Slow Horses started like that, I wouldn't continue to watch it, but fine.
Be quiet, my child, said the old woman, and you shall have it. Your stepsister has long deserved death. Tonight, when she is asleep, I will come and cut her head off. Only be careful that you are at the far side of the bed and push her well to the front.
So they're sharing a bed, and she's like, make sure you push her this side because I can't get over to the side.
Bad. Get an apron.
Apparently so.
They're not going to try just asking for it first.
Well, we don't know if it's a magic apron.
But let's not chop her head off.
Well, no, apparently that's...
They've gone from 1 to 100.
Her precious child has gone, I want that apron, and her mum's gone, well, I'll kill her then. That's it.
Right.
Right. It would have been all over for the poor girl if she had not just been standing in a corner and heard everything. All day long she dared not to go out of doors, and when bedtime had come, the witch's daughter got into bed first so as to lie at the far side. But when she was asleep, the other pushed her gently to the front and took for herself the place at the back close by the wall. So she's heard all of this and was like, no, I'm going to stay.
I take back what I said about the premise.
Right. You're in now.
Hottened up really quick, didn't it?
In the night,
Heated up. Sorry, hottened up. I knew it as I said it.
Well, you know, that happens with your I will choose hoddiness or whatever it is under your boob, so that's fine.
You were just going to let me say that.
Yeah, I was, yeah.
Right, go on.
In the night, the old woman came creeping in. She held an axe in her right hand and felt with her left to see if anyone was lying on the outside. And then she grasped the axe with both hands and cut her own child's head off. And she's just gone, wallop! Is that the sound of an axe? Just woof.
No, I think it's more like...
Ooh.
Yeah, that one was gross. Maybe that one out.
So, daughter's dead.
Yeah.
Killed the wrong one.
Own child.
But she doesn't know this yet. When she had gone away, the girl got up and went to her sweetheart, who was called Roland, and knocked at his door. When he came out, she said to him, oh, I need a voice for her.
What? She seems quite conniving. Or just... Maybe she just has survival instincts.
Maybe she just has survival instincts. I'll just do a generic voice for her, and then I need a voice for Roland.
Can you make him Irish?
Irish?
Yeah, I really like an Irish accent.
I can do. The only one I can attempt to do, and it's always bad, is Northern Irish.
Yeah, do that.
Okay. I was gonna make him Scouse.
Oh yeah, okay. You can do Scouse. Can you make her Irish?
I can try.
Okay.
So-
A bit of sweetness to her though.
With a Northern Irish
Yeah.
accent. Love the Northern Irish accent. Very sexy accent. Not well known for their sweetness behind it. I don't think they'd be offended me saying. Right. So she's gone to Roland's door. When he came out, she said to him, hear me, dearest Roland, we must fly in all haste. My stepmother wanted to kill me, but has struck her own child. When daylight comes and she sees what she has done, we shall be lost. So she's like, get a pedal on, Roland.
We need to go.
Out I would say, why didn't she go to him before the sleeping incident?
Oh,
Does make her a little implicit now, going,
yeah.
someone's going to die, and I've put
It's
her
not
in
gonna
this
be
position.
me.
Yeah, exactly.
Though I guess she was in panic mode.
The thing is, she was in panic mode, but she's had she waited the entire day. She said she couldn't go outside. She waited the entire day and then got into bed.
But he said she was scared to go through doors and stuff. I think she was scared that they'd be behind one and
Right, what was I doing for Roland? Scout. But, said Roland, I counsel you first to take away her magic wand, or we cannot escape if she pursues us.
Right, so she's got a bit more...
So he's saying, look, we can leave, but you need to get that witch's magic wand, because that's not going to help if she has it and we don't.
Yeah.
The maiden fetched the magic wand, and she took the dead girl's head and dropped 3 drops of blood on the ground, one in front of the bed, one in the kitchen, and one on the stairs. So she's gone back, got the wand,
Picked up the head.
picked up the head and went, I'm going to dot little bits of blood around the house.
Hopefully
Like incense.
it becomes apparent why I hate incense.
Then she hurried away with her lover. When the old witch got up the next morning, she called her daughter and wanted to give her the apron, but she did not come. Then the witch... Sorry, go on.
I'm sorry, I didn't realise I did that so loud and out loud. So how did she get the apron?
Well, she just picked up the apron apparently because it was just there.
So the girl wasn't wearing it?
Well, this is it. I don't understand. Because if she wasn't wearing it, couldn't you have just taken it anyway?
Why did we need to chop it?
Also, as your magic, couldn't you have just...
Do you know what? I'm remembering a bit more about the Brothers Grimm. There's some holes. There's some holes in this story.
She's like, I've got this apron for you.
Which we didn't need to kill him for.
But here is your head. So she's gone looking for her. She's got your apron.
Yeah.
Then the witch cried,
Where are you?
I need a voice for the drops of blood, apparently.
What?
They're speaking.
I wouldn't even know where to start.
Need a drop of blood voice.
What's he going to say?
Well, there's 3 of them and they'll say different things.
Maybe quite squeaky. Quite squeaky. Yeah.
No. I'll just do a generic young. I'll go back to my youth, a young girl's
I was
voice.
thinking more raindrops than blood drops. You're not going squeaky? Is it too hard on the old throat?
I don't know if I can do squeaky.
You just did it.
That's my voice.
No, when you went...
I'm not. That's weird.
So is talking drops of blood. It's in keeping
All
with
right.
the theme.
Fine. Fucking hell. Then the witch cried,
Where are you?
Here, on the stairs. I am sweeping, answered the first drop of blood.
Perfect.
Sure. The old woman went out, but saw no one on the stairs, and cried again.
Where are you?
Here, in the kitchen. I am warming myself, cried the second drop of blood. She went into the kitchen, but found no one. Then she cried again.
Where are you?
Here, in the bed. I am sleeping, cried the third drop of blood. Fuck you. She went into the room and to the bed. What did she see there? Her own child, whose head she had cut off, bathed in her own blood. The witch fell into a passion, sprang to the window, and as she could look forth quite far into the world, she perceived her stepdaughter hurrying away with her sweetheart Roland.
She's on their tail.
Found the body. Also, apparently witches have super amazing eyesight.
Well, yeah, that's why I go to them to find out what's going to happen in the future.
That shall not serve you.
Cried she.
Even if you have gone a long way off, you shall still not escape me.
She put on her boots, in which she went an hour's walk with every step, and it was not long before she overtook them. So one step she can just do in an hour.
Oh,
That'd make it better for all your walks you go on, innit?
don't. I did a second park run at the weekend.
Did you?
Yeah, not 2 in a row. Like, I did one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
did
thought you would give it up. I thought you didn't want any of that
no,
anymore.
I don't give. I torture myself. I do not give up.
You
However,
looked at your hand and went, ambition.
That's why I got it, so that I never give up.
Fucking hell.
But it faded. I had to get it done twice. Anyway,
Your ambition has faded.
neither here nor there.
Right.
Right. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, it would come in handy because I could do that park run in minus
Yeah.
30.32 seconds.
May look a bit suspicious on the old record sheet there.
Pulled that finger out the air.
So the witch has now overtook them. The girl, however, when she saw the old woman striding towards her, used her magic wand to change her sweetheart Roland into a lake and herself into a duck, swimming in the middle of it. The witch placed herself on the shore, threw breadcrumbs in, and took great pains to entice the duck. But the duck did not let herself be enticed, and the old woman had to go home at night as she had come. So the witch has caught up with them, and the stepdaughter's like, I'm going to turn my boyfriend into a lake.
How does she know that that they've been caught up with?
She saw the old woman striding towards her, so she's seen the old woman come in.
She saw her. Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
Yeah. But she's turned Roland into a lake and herself into a duck. And then the old witch has been like, I'm going to lure her with bread. And I'm going to tell you this right now, that would work on me.
But I don't know if this is a fact that I made up.
Oh, here we go.
Someone told me you shouldn't give ducks bread.
No, you shouldn't give ducks bread.
Because
It's bad
it
for the dogs.
expands
Yeah.
and explodes. There's exploding ducks somewhere. I've never seen it.
Yeah, to be fair, I have never seen a duck explode.
But apparently it does. If you give a duck enough bread, it expands. There's somewhere and the duck explodes
I
and dies.
don't think it explodes. I think maybe it's digestive issues.
Yeah, it's not good for the duck, basically.
Ducks are gluten-free.
But neither are... There's a lot of things that aren't good for me, but I'll still eat them, I guess. So maybe the duck doesn't know it's doing that to itself.
I would say probably not, as it's a duck. Although this is a girl as a duck.
She should know about the bread theory.
I don't know if she knows about the bread theory, but she should cotton on to the fact that that's that old witch who's trying to capture me.
Oh, yeah, and that. There's a couple of reasons she shouldn't be taking bread.
So anyway, it hasn't worked. Witches had to go home. At this, the girl and her sweetheart Roland resumed their natural shapes again, and they walked on the whole night until daybreak. Then the maiden changed herself into a beautiful flower which stood in the middle of a briar hedge, and her sweetheart Roland into a fiddler, which seems a weird choice.
Yeah, they don't seem to link as well as the lake and the duck.
Also, a fiddler sticks out a lot fucking more than a hedge, I would say. Like, I'm a hedge, and can you blend in? Oh, I think as a musician, playing constantly should really help you in this scenario. Nobody will cotton on to that. It was not long before the witch came striding up towards them and said to the musician,
Dear musician, may I pluck that beautiful flower for myself?
Oh, yes, he replied. I will play to you while you do it. I went a bit Irish at the end. Sorry, Roland. As she was hastily creeping into the hedge.
Hold on. Back up. Why is he letting her pluck?
Well, quite, yes. And he's gone, I will play to you while you do
Sweet
it.
Roland, I think not.
But alas, let us read on. As she was
Please, dear God, let us read on.
As she was hastily creeping into the hedge and was just going to pluck the flower, for she well knew who the flower was, so she was aware, he began to play, and whether she would like it or not, she was forced to dance, for it was a magical dance. The quicker he played, the more violent springs she was forced to make, and the thorns tore her clothes from her body and pricked her and wounded her till she bled. And as he did not stop, she had to dance till she lay dead on the ground.
Bloody hell, that took a turn, didn't it?
Yeah, so he's like, oh yeah, you go pick some flowers, love. I'll play you a tune while you go to death. Like, yeah. Do you know that was actually a thing? There was something known as a dancing plague in 1518 that started in like Salzburg.
Are you joking me?
No, and from I think it was like 3 months from like July, or it might even have been longer. Some people have suggested it was just mass hysteria because one woman started it off and she just would not stop dancing, and then loads of other people joined in, and it's estimated somewhere between 50 to 400 people took part or died. I can't remember, but loads of people died from it. It lasted for months.
Themselves.
Yeah, and then because the thing is as well, some of the, because it spread a bit across Europe, so there was a few places that did it, but it was particularly this one. But because it lasted so long, some of like the local councils were like, well, what we'll do is we'll make some of the halls more equipped for dancing and put music on, and that should quell it down. And it made it 10 times worse. But it's thought to have been a mass hysteria that took, and there's been a few times in history where that's the biggest one we know of. But there's other ones in history where people have had a dancing plague.
Are there no films about this?
I haven't checked.
I imagine there's books and stuff, but could I jump straight to a film?
Yeah, I only do reading. But you go and
I'd
look
love
at
a film on that. If you...
Yeah, well, Footloose, I suppose, is the closest one. But yeah, there was actually a proper thing. So she's dead. So witch is dead.
Yeah.
Danced herself to
Ding
death.
dong, the witch is dead.
For some reason, I was going to go bottom jeans, boots with the fur. Witch got low.
Different musical.
When they were saved, Roland said,
Now I will go to my father and arrange for a wedding.
Then in the meantime, I will stay here and wait for you, said the girl, and that no one may recognise me. I will change myself into a red milestone. So she's gone, I'm going to disguise myself as a milestone while you apparently go and sort out the wedding on your own. Why she can't go, no idea.
The body's there.
Yeah, so why not go with him? She's dead. What does he need to go on his own for?
I don't trust her.
Right. Then Roland went away and the girl stood like a red milestone in the field and waited for her beloved. But when Roland got home, he fell into the snares of another who prevailed on him so far that he forgot the maiden.
What?
So he's gone home to sort the wedding out. She's
Seen another woman?
And then just got so enamoured by her that he's forgotten the other one existed. Even though he was going specifically back to fix his own wedding.
I mean, part of me...
Not Sweethart, is he? Dickhead Roland.
But part of me feels like that premise is believable.
The poor girl remained there a long time, but at length, as he did not return at all, she was sad and changed herself into a flower and thought, someone will surely come this way and trample me down.
Oh my God.
So she hasn't turned herself into a flower because she's like, I'm special and pretty and all this. She's
also on the slow decline to death.
Yeah, she's
The
like...
descent.
Descent to death. She's like, if I turn into a flower, I'll be so delicate that I'll just get trampled over and die because that's how depressed I am.
That's how broken she feels.
It happened, however, that a shepherd kept his sheep in the field and saw the flower, and as it was so pretty, plucked it, took it with him, and laid it away in his chest, which is weird. And because one thing I know about flowers, they probably need...
They don't thrive in chests.
Yeah, sunshine is quite important.
Have you thought about putting that in a vase?
From that time forth, strange things happened in the shepherd's house. When he arose in the morning, all the work was already done. The room was swept, the table and benches cleaned, the fire on the hearth was lighted, and the water was fetched. And at noon, when he came home, the table was laid and a good dinner served.
Credit where credit's due. That is what
She
it's like
has
living with
grafted.
Matthew.
Is it?
Yeah.
Clean, tidy food on the table?
Yeah, I woke up this morning, he'd done like 2 loads of washing or something.
Nice.
He does do that. He got breakfast.
Fair play to the lad.
Which poses the question, what am I bringing to the table?
Ambition. He could not conceive how this came to pass, for he never saw a human being in his house, and no one could have concealed him in it. He was certainly pleased with this good attendance, but still at last he was so afraid that he went to a wise woman and asked for her advice. Need a wise woman's voice.
Probably use mine.
I was going to say, what's Diane in Chatham sound like?
Like me.
Does she sound like you? All right, we'll do it like you then. We'll give that a go. Although my accent's a bit all over the place today, so let's see. Right. You're looking at me going, how offended am I going to be? The wise woman said, there is some enchantment behind it. Listen very early some morning if anything is moving in the room. And if you see anything, let it be what it may. Throw a white cloth over it and then the magic will be stopped. Honestly, the listeners are not going to know which one of us was speaking then. I absolutely smashed that.
If that is how I sound, I now understand why my mum always says to me, you don't speak like that. You could speak better. Try harder.
That was spot on, that.
Is that how I sound?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay, because that felt
Diane in Chatham, though.
That sounded very artful dodger.
It did last time I tried to do it.
Yeah.
That's all I can do. The shepherd did as she bade him, and the next morning, just as day dawned, he saw the chest open and the flower come out. Like a snake charm, kind of like... Swiftly, he sprang towards it and threw a white cloth over it. Instantly, the transformation came to an end, and a beautiful girl stood before him, who told him that she had been the flower, and that up to this time she had attended to his housekeeping. So he's charmed this flower out of a box and then caught it with a white cloth, turned her back into a woman. She's a babe, and she's explained...
She also cooks and cleans.
Yeah. She also does all this shit. It was like, I was just a cheeky little flower.
But also, when she was cooking and cleaning and stuff, was she still a flower? Was she doing that with her leaves, or was she doing that with her hands?
That's a good question, because that would be quite difficult.
One, I imagine the Brothers Grimm won't answer.
She told him her story, and since she pleased him, he asked her if she would marry him.
Christ, it's so hard to get anyone to marry you nowadays. I was born in the wrong time with the wrong people.
Yeah, this one, you just had to do a bit of cooking and cleaning and you'd have been snapped
Although,
up
to
like
be
that.
fair, it is quick to get someone to marry you. It's also quick for them to forget that they said they would do that. So maybe I prefer it where I am.
I've always said this to my mates. If I was born in the 1950s, I would have been swept up long ago.
Why is that?
I can cook. I'm quite a good entertainer. So when they'd have their guest rounds for dinner, I would have been able to.
I can't cook, so I'd take myself out the 1950s immediately.
You'd have to be a trophy wife.
I don't think I would have got that either.
See, I couldn't have done that. I would have been a bit potato facey, but I could have made sure all your stuff was done. Like, it would have been fine. So he's asked her to marry him, but she answered no. For she wanted to remain faithful to her sweetheart Roland.
Oh, he is gone.
Although
I have held on to relationships like that. Let them go. They're emotionally unavailable. He doesn't want you. He will come back. You will have moved on.
To be fair, the Brothers Grimm do agree with you here because they've gone, she wanted to remain faithful, although he had deserted her. So you are in
Exactly,
keeping there.
Brothers Grimm.
However,
I reckon Dorothea added that line.
yeah. Do you know what's really interesting is actually, so Dorothea and a few of the women, they got the tales that the Brothers Grimm used because they were mainly passed down orally.
Yeah, yeah.
And they were getting them from Dorothea. And they're mostly, traditionally, all these fairy tales orally passed down by women. But whenever they've been written down, traditionally by men. And someone did a study, because I read about this because obviously I'm a massive nerd, and they looked at the original writings because I can't remember, I think it was Jacob really loved just editing, just constantly editing and editing and editing.
Takes too much out of everything.
But they found that from the original version that was written down and like the edited versions that we have now, stuff like the use of verbs and descriptors changed so much to be so anti-women. And so also they also found that the good women in these books were talking less and the really evil women were talking more, and that's from Jacob's editing and Wilhelm's as well, I suppose. But that's really which was quite and it just shows you that why it's important.
Start of the patriarchy or something, are they?
I think the patriarchy's been around a lot longer since the Brothers Grimm, but I think it's why it's always important when people go, who told this story, who wrote it down, because that's what happens. It's just no matter how much you try, your thoughts will just be put into the writing.
Well, do you know what? That's given me the incentive to write better. From a lady's point of view.
Right.
In a positive way.
Because I still want you to be writing a fairy tale for this at some point.
Not that. Maybe for
Right.
me standard. I'll start with an Edinburgh show.
And we'll go from there.
It's going to be very woman-led, female-heavy.
I would hope so, as it's a one-woman show with just you in it. It would be woman-led. Hi, this is Fiona Ridgewell stand-up show. I'm having a man stand in for me.
But the men in my life got a lot of airtime in my last Edinburgh show, and they will get none in this one.
Quite right. Good. So she's gone, I'm not going to marry you, right? But she said, however, she promised not to go away, but to keep on keeping house for the shepherd.
Oh, she's had an absolute shit show there.
She's an absolute dumb bitch. I've got no time for her.
Oh my God.
And now the time drew near when Roland's wedding was to be celebrated. And then, according to an old custom in the country, it was announced that all the girls were to be present at it and sing in honour of the bridal pair. Now, I tried to...
What? Go back? What's happening?
Roland's getting married to this new one he's found.
Oh, my God.
And apparently it's an old custom
that all the other women have to be there and sing.
Yeah, apparently. Now, I tried to find this out and if it was an actual thing, and I can't find anything.
I think Roland's a narcissist.
To be fair, the old custom I don't think was devised by Roland. I think that's just an old custom. But I tried to figure that out and I couldn't. I found lots of other stuff about bridal and wedding traditions, but I couldn't find anything specifically about this one. So I don't know if that's just a Brothers Grimm thing. I don't know if Dorothea was like, this is what I'd like for my wedding. I don't know what's cracking on. When the faithful maiden heard of this, she grew so sad that she thought her heart would break and she would not go. But the other girls came and took her, which is not good feminism.
No.
You should definitely come to your ex's wedding.
But sometimes
and
they're like,
sing.
Put a brave face on it.
I would never go to my ex's wedding.
No, I don't think I would. I don't think I'd get invited.
Yeah, well, that's another point.
Yeah.
Why would we be invited?
I would not be invited.
When her turn came to sing, she stepped back until at last she was the only one left, and then she could not refuse. But when she began her song and it reached Roland's ears, he sprang up and cried, I know that voice. That is the true bride. I will have no other. so he's recognised her
Oh
voice.
my God, he's an absolute mug.
Everything he had forgotten and which had vanished from his mind suddenly came home again to his heart. Then the faithful maiden held her wedding with her sweetheart Roland, and grief came to an end, and joy began. And that is the end of the story. Yes. So that's sweetheart Roland.
I've got a different name for him.
Yeah, me too.
But that relationship's going to be terrible.
Also, do you know what I don't like about this? Is there are
everything.
There are several women in this. He is the only one who's named.
I was going to say, when I just said her,
Yeah.
I thought, I don't know what her name is.
The stepdaughter, the mum, the sister who died,
They're just
the
defined
wise
by their
woman.
roles
Yeah.
in society and in rather than just names, individuals. I am disgusted. Yet again, I will seek revenge in my Edinburgh show.
This is why I wasn't sure about it. You see, like
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel
Well,
about
you've
this
riled
story.
me, Louise.
Evidently so.
Because what's the moral of that?
Well, do you know what it could be?
Don't
Happiness
know.
will come. That's what
No,
could
it
be.
isn't. It's like also like what is the main plot line in that? Is it the apron and the sword, the axe, or is it the? Because that just seems to be resolved quite early on,
Yeah.
and then this subplot came
Well,
up.
So it is meant to be like sort of a love story.
Well, it
between-
isn't. That's not no love story I want.
And then it's just what do you think the moral is?
My more, if she was my mate, don't go back to him.
I wouldn't say that's a moral, is it? That's more you giving some advice.
Therapy.
Therapy.
Is it, and he's got Phantom X syndrome. So what's happened is
You're just diagnosing him now. You're not
Yeah.
telling me the moral.
he's seen her and remembered all the great bits of their relationship.
Right. This has really sparked you off.
Forget it. And now he's like, I need her back. And she's going to go back, even though, she could have lived probably a nicer life.
With the shepherd.
Well, she's doing
Living
all
in her
this,
chest.
She's doing all this crap anyway.
She might as well do it for a bloke who appreciated it.
Yeah, at least he was grateful and remembered her. That's a bare minimum. Could you remember me?
Is that the bare minimum?
I don't know what that is.
So that's your therapy advice. Do you have any ideas of a moral? Can I interest you in a moral?
The moral, I just don't know what the moral would be because I don't know if I'm doing a moral for the beheading of one's daughter.
Well, there's quite a few moral
or if
suggestions
I'm-
for this.
Okay, give me the first one. I'll see if I can piggyback off it.
Loyalty and love. The stepdaughter's loyalty prevails to Roland, and because of this, she is rewarded when he hears her voice, and therefore she gets the man of her dreams. And love could overcome any obstacle. Apparently, is one of them supposedly.
Vetoed.
Yeah, I'm not keen on that myself. Good versus evil. The evil witch and the evil wicked daughter were seeking bad things to happen to the stepdaughter. It's really hard to talk about them with no bloody names. The stepdaughter, and she was like, no, I'm going to be good and go with my true love, and killed them.
It's quite, it's a bit.
There's also apparently the power of transformation, because it was the magic wand that allowed the stepdaughter to change and to escape the witch. And it links to the idea of if you're adaptable and resourceful, you can change and get out of any situation.
I'll take that one.
Yeah, I'll take that one for 100.
Because that is, even in the last bit, it's sort of still vaguely in the story, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because she transforms into a flower again. Yeah.
And then, of course, there's just, if you wait long enough for a man, he will return. It'll pay off, as marriage is the only thing you care about, apparently, according to the woman in this story.
Hold on, what? That's not a real moral, is it?
No, that was something I got from someone sarcastically writing on the internet.
Oh, thank God, because I was like, what a terrible moral. Yeah, that's what I'd say. I'd have a sarcastic moral.
Really don't like this one, do you?
No, it's triggered me.
It's triggered you quite a lot.
It's triggered me.
But at least you appreciate Matthew, because he does the bare minimum of he remembers you. So
He
that's
does
good.
remember me. Yeah, he remembered that I was on the sofa today.
And he found you right there.
Oh, I'm going to go and see my musical now.
Guys and dolls?
Yeah.
Guys and
Had
dolls.
to wrap up warm because to get cheaper tickets, we are sat next to an air conditioning unit. Okay, bye. See you next week.
Please
Like and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever it is that you get your podcasts. And follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Be Fairy Afraid Pod. Thanks for listening.